Hi guys, so are we seeing the first signs of the Tories being punished for Brexit? Now Boris Johnson won an 80-seat majority in 2019 on the back of getting Brexit done. The public, it seems, were sick to their back teeth of hearing about Brexit, and the Prime Minister, with his focus group guru Dominic Cummings, came up with a slogan that won them a majority. This, of course, allowed Boris Johnson to push ahead with getting a trade deal within a year. He had set his own timetable and promised the public that the UK would be out of the transition period as soon as possible, with a wonderful trade deal that would vindicate the people's vote back in 2016. Well, fast forward to today, and almost 4 full months after the end of the transition period, it isn't going very well for businesses the length and breadth of the UK. An industry that was trumpeted by Brexiteers within and outside the Tory government was, of course, fishing, and how it would benefit not just from Brexit, but from Boris Johnson's trade deal. The Tories in 2019 managed to flip some Labour-backing constituencies, but since Brexit, things are starting to look a bit iffy for Boris and his bunch. In a report from The Observer, the struggles of the fishing industry could create some serious problems for the Conservatives in Cornwall, which is facing crucial council elections in May. This has been seen as the first electoral test since the pandemic hit over a year ago. In the article, they interviewed a fisherman called Michael Bossistow. Bossistow is a Brexit supporter, but said he will not be supporting the Tories on the 6th of May. He said, and I quote, "We're not going to forget when it comes to voting time. I don't feel like the Conservatives deserve my vote at the moment." He went on to say that the community is dying. The fishermen are getting older, and the younger people are not following in their footsteps in a way to maintain the industry. He believed that a better future was available, but the opportunity was missed. The EU-UK trade deal, which came into force in January, gave British boats a greater share of the fish that they caught in UK waters. But it also allowed boats from the European countries to fish in those waters until at least 2026, with many in the industry expecting that to continue for years to come. However, a bigger problem is that border hold-ups and requirements to purify shellfish before export to the EU has resulted in a hit to earnings and led to some consignments being left to rot at either the port that they were caught at or the port for export. Bracken Pearce, another fisherman, said that he had joined Nigel Farage as part of the Thames Brexit flotilla back in 2016. However, now he feels betrayed. He calls Boris Johnson's deal the worst of all worlds. In a damning statement, he said, and I quote, "It's a complete sellout. It's a betrayal. The deal we got is lose-lose. We got friction at the borders, and they, the European Union fishing boats, have got access to our waters." He went on to say, "I can't vote Conservative." The town of Newlyn is really suffering at the moment. Brexit has caused a whole set of problems because 80% of the catch they land usually gets exported to the European Union. Another problem facing fishermen is the collapse in the price of catches. The Port's harbour master, Rob Parsons, explained how hake, for example, is normally about £5 to £6 a kilo. It fluctuates daily, but it is now down to just 60p. He explained the struggle fishermen are going through by saying, and I quote, "In order to make a trip, one boat going out for 5 days, you need to clear £2.20 a kilo." The current Tory councillor, who's not standing for re-election, understands that people are angry, and even he expects that his party will take a bit of a beating there. He said that fishermen were promised something that at the end of the day was impossible. It is unlikely that Labour will benefit at the expenses of the Tories, but the Liberal Democrats might. Talia Marrington, who is challenging the Tories, is keen to help the port prosper outside the European Union, but is steering clear of issues connected to Brexit, it seems. She has described Brexit as being extremely divisive. She believes it's better to move on. Are we starting to see a backlash against the Tories over Brexit? This may be the case in places that are seeing the impact of Brexit firsthand, like the fishing communities. They are wrongly blaming the problems on Boris Johnson's deal than on Brexit itself, which may actually help parties like Labour and the Liberal Democrats. Their approach seems to be avoid talking about Brexit and convince the public Boris Johnson messed up here by letting the EU dictate terms. The Tories are still doing quite well in the polls due to the rollout of the vaccine, which is wrongly being accredited to Boris Johnson and his government, when in reality it was the NHS that has been doing most of the heavy lifting. I think the elections in May could be quite punishing for the Tories, but I do believe it will be somewhat cushioned by the NHS's work on getting jabs into arms. The Labour Party's tactics perhaps in the short term should be to blame Boris for the problems of Brexit and avoid blaming Brexit itself. They can then attempt to sell the public a better deal. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?